Good enough.
Because it's high, I guess. High.
Good enough.
I
Yeah,
don't
you're
know. I
high,
don't
all
even know
right.
which way
Are
it's
we
supposed
ready?
to- I
Yeah,
guess.
go for it.
Wait, that sucked.
Yeah. There we go. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Midnight Movie Distillery. I'm one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
I'm another one of your hosts, Warwick Price.
And I'm Lon Black. And we had in the last episode a wonderful whiskey
Wonderful.
that is paired with what movie?
Substance.
The Substance. The Substance. Demi Moore
Yes.
and
Dennis Quaid.
Margaret.
Dennis Quaid.
Margaret Quigley? No.
Is that
know.
it?
Margot Quigley?
Why can't you? Yeah.
Margaret?
Qualley.
Qualley.
Yeah,
Qualley.
Margaret Qualley.
Qualley.
No.
Margaret
She was in
Qualley.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, she was. She was the one with the...
There was something else
Yes.
she was in that
Which
I
was
saw
disgusting,
too.
but-
Wasn't she in a lot of
She had like dirty feet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, come on.
Nope, nothing else that I've seen.
That goes down a whole rabbit hole. I don't know if you know that whole thing.
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin,
Yeah.
with
He
his
likes his feet.
Yeah. Not his feet, other
Well,
women's.
yes, he likes women's feet.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway,
So, the Substance.
so
Pretty...
describe the plot for them.
Yeah. let's
So
hear it.
It's
basically...
like we've never done an episode before.
Yeah. We don't know what we're doing.
Demi Moore plays an aging actress that realizes that her time in the spotlight is starting to wane, and out of the blue gets it's the guy in her doctor's office, right?
Yes.
Guy in the doctor's office slips her like a number to call of saying, hey, try this. It changed my life, and ultimately she calls and gets given I'm trying to speed this through a little bit, but gets given
It's okay. It's a summary.
a substance.
What a great name.
That when she injects the substance, it creates a new version of her. She doesn't die. She's kept alive, but the second person that comes out, played by Margaret
Qualley.
Qualley.
Qualley, has to keep her alive. And there's one rule: you can only stay in the new body for 7 days, and then you have to switch back to the other body.
Keep the balance.
Keep the balance.
And don't forget, you are the same person.
Yes.
Which comes into play in the movie.
And so again, without necessarily going into a lot of detail beyond that, we will surely talk.
We will have spoilers
Talk to that through the episode.
Spoilers.
I don't warn. We just
They
say.
don't keep to the 7 days. So,
Bloody Barrel rating.
Oh, yeah.
If any of you are new to this channel, we do a Bloody Barrel rating.
It's a bloody buddy.
How many on a scale from 1 to 5? So really, the highest you can go is 5.4. The lowest you can go is point whatever you want because
That's how we roll.
Yeah, because we try to vary from this as much as possible.
and again, we used to have the original thought was we were going to have whole numbers for everything, but then we started realizing that really kind of limited us a lot, and so now we do tend to allow for at least to the 10th of a point. So, okay, are we
All
ready?
right.
Yep.
Remember,
Now, Mr. Lynch.
primary number is on the
right.
right-hand side.
But I only have one number.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I just got to make sure the white is facing me.
All right. 1.
2, 3.
You guys suck at this. I swear to God, we've never done an episode.
Okay.
All right, what do you got, Mr.
I gave it a
Lynch?
3.
I gave it a 3.5.
I gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
All right, you're on the low. You're the low.
I'm on the
end,
low
Mr.
end.
Cole. What's up? What's going on?
I guess should I start off with? I'll start off with positives and work
because
my
clearly
way.
you didn't hate it.
Work my way into the
'Cause
negatives.
three-
Correct.
3 is still
so positives. I liked the film. I liked the obviously the acting was good. The Dennis Quaid character made me feel disgusting every time I saw him, which that was obviously his intent.
Yes.
And Demi Moore did a very good job. She was actually very believable, which I think is funny because she probably just played herself. I think,
In a certain degree,
based
I
on
agree.
everything that was going on. I liked that it seemed like there was thought put into having to keep the people alive. There's just a bag you plug in. Not many instructions and some of that stuff. I don't know how they would have figured that out.
They're scientists.
Like the injector to pull the
No,
fluid
but,
out
but
of the back.
the people who are using it.
The people who are using
Oh,
it.
sure.
Yeah, like they didn't. They just said, like there's this big needle. Like I would have been like, okay, where do I get that from?
Do I put that in my ear?
Yeah. Do I stick it in her ass? I don't know. So I mean, all in all, I was entertained. My only gripe was I feel like the movie could have been probably about 25 minutes shorter. I think it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I feel like there were some parts where it kind of just dragged on.
I would agree with that, I think.
And the one thing that I was upset by is there was too many times where she questioned whether she should stop or not. It should have been the one time she says, "Okay, I'm gonna. Should I stop? I'm gonna stop. No, okay, never mind." And that should have been it.
But
it was like
I think she kept
times.
finding reasons to do that, just never pulled the trigger on it until finally it was too late to pull the trigger on it.
So the one question, and maybe I missed it, so tell me if I'm wrong, but like,
You're wrong.
So the one thing that I don't think I got an answer on is, so did Demi Moore have the memories of Sue when Sue was out there? Part of me thinks that she has to have, because then
Because they're the same person.
because then you're correct with what you're saying. Because to me, it's like, so the decision that she had was, even though she as Demi Moore was losing faculties just because of her not switching at 7 days, but if she was seeing the benefits of being Sue, like maybe that was the hard part where she's like, oh, you know.
See, I don't think they did share the memory, because they were at that point the same person, but two separate bodies.
Correct.
She never went back into Demi Moore.
She had Demi Moore's memories, I think.
Yes,
Is what I felt.
original memories.
Because then
correct.
she knew
Yes.
like
She
the,
knew how to
the fitness
act and how
thing
to
and stuff
do,
like that.
and right,
So,
right.
but I did like there was the scene where Demi Moore sees her character sees the billboard and she's like, "What?" Like, you know, she seemed shocked. Like,
And
it
when she
wasn't
came
like,
out after the party and she found her place was a mess, her apartment was
Yeah,
destroyed.
like-
She was like, "What?"
You're right. She didn't
So
know.
she didn't know that.
You're correct. But
So
when-
I think that's the cutoff point was when she was birthed out the back.
But to be honest, then I am actually a little bit more in line with you for that part. Where basically it's like why would she, if she wasn't really getting the benefits from it, like why would she not have cut it off as soon as her little
Yeah, and it was
pinky-
only
right.
bad things that were happening, right? Like,
Right.
The whole thing was, okay, wait, now my finger's bad.
That's-
Like to me, it's like, okay, this is getting worse and worse. It's only going to get worse and worse. Why wouldn't you say, stop it now? You know.
You know what? I think. Wait a minute. I think you've hit on something that's kind of ruins the entire movie.
It does when you really think about it.
It does. Is that she, Demi Moore, is not getting any benefit
No.
from this?
No.
So why do it?
Right, because no, it's like she can't even say she's using it to get back at
the producers and-
Dennis Quaid.
Right.
I was about to say
Right.
Randy Quaid.
One of the Quaids,
At Dennis Quaid, it's like, it's not like she's like, knowing that like, oh, yes, I'm going to show him.
Right.
Because she doesn't know any of that happened.
I think Sue has enough memory where she wants to get revenge,
Right.
but Demi Moore doesn't know any of that.
Right. And
I think that that ruins the whole movie.
it's so for me, like there were.
Holy shit, dude!
I loved the movie, even though we're talking about it, and now maybe I don't love it quite so much. But I did still I love the movie. Like I loved it when I was watching it. It's funny, like the three, this movie and the next two movies, I think have somewhat of a similar vein to it in terms of they're not like true out and out horror movies. Like
This
I
got
would
to the
go-
end, it was a
Right,
fucking
I would say
horror
this
movie.
was more of a body horror. But
right,
Yeah.
well, certainly at the end, because at the beginning it was actually kind of nice body horror.
even still, like the whole birthing out the back, like that was.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
That was a lot of
Stitching
graphic,
up
and it looked.
getting the needle
I
in
didn't-
the spinal column.
Do
to
we
pull
know
out
if there
the
was
juices.
a whole lot? Was this practical mostly, or was there CGI?
Oh no, I think a lot of it was practical.
Oh, I think
Okay.
most of it
I was
was.
gonna say, 'cause it looked practical.
It looked really
even
good.
the ending
Yeah.
was. I don't know why I did that for the ending, but even
Yes.
the ending was
I don't know what this
practical effect.
Right. But so okay. But I will say, so like a few things I did have a problem with in the movie. One was, at what point, with if Sue has Demi Moore's memories, at what point in Demi Moore's life did she suddenly become a builder, that she was able to build a fake room
that
It-
seamlessly flowed into the rest
in
of
her
the house.
bathroom to a point
Yes.
that she could close that door and no one would know that there was another room there.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little bit odd.
Right.
And then the other thing is, again, figuring that Demi Moore's character was previously an actress and did the whole like either Suzanne Summers or Jane Fonda kind of route where then got into fitness and things like that. She's probably wealthy, pretty wealthy.
Right.
Why would she ever have a fucking billboard right outside her window?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So here's the way I take all of that, because it's not just that. There were many, many other things in there that were not normal, right? They amplified Quaid eating shrimp, so you could hear every slurp, gulp, chew.
Isn't that like ASMR or something?
Everything. But the point is, it was, and the close-ups of his mouth, and so the point is, this movie was not to be taken as a reality possibility. This was a fairy tale.
Sure.
Everything was over the top, dramatic, and purpose. I'm not even talking like Kubrick, where obviously the halls were extremely long. You had to walk down this long hall to get to the door. Just when Quaid brought her out her box, because hey, we're kicking you out. Here you go. That was unnecessary scene. It was just to show how rude he was, and he was so over the top asshole that it was not really quite believable, because it's kind of like, I don't know. But then when because I hated it after. When I first saw the movie, I'm like, that was so stupid and ridiculous. And then I thought about it. If it's a fairy tale, it's supposed to be that way.
Here's something that'll probably twist things up a little bit. What if the substance was just kind of some way of unaliving herself? And because what was the first thing every time she went under, she had nightmares. What if this whole thing was just a nightmare and she never actually...
This didn't really happen.
And it never really happened, and then that's where she ended up dying, because eventually whatever the substance was took over her body. Just a thought. Kind of, I got like a little Lynchian feel for something like that. Like I was thinking, what if this whole thing is all just, a bad dream?
I think that could have been a possibility if they'd ultimately given the reveal of that at the end. One thing. So
how many people would sit around while there's, you know what I mean? Like,
because it's a fairy tale.
I know we're trying to get to I don't want to get to the end just yet.
It's a fairy tale.
So one thing I see, I love the scene. I agree with what you say, but like I love the scene with the hallway, because I love the fact that like when she first came out as Demi Moore, and like it was lined with her posters, because obviously like she'd been there for years, and she'd made up all the posters. Because I love the fact when Sue comes out and there's a single poster on the left hand side, and but she has this like long hallway, and you get that kind of vision of like, well, this is what's to come, is like you're going to fill this hallway with your pictures.
Exactly. That's what made it a good movie, and the fact that all this stuff was very Kubrick in the way that everything meant something.
Everything was orange, yes.
Right? There was certain things that made certain sense for that, but that's what made you realize it wasn't a reality. I did at first, which upset me, but then when I realized or thought about it and took it from the stance of, this wasn't reality. It was either a dream or a fairy tale or just a trumped up story. Not real.
Because to that point, the other issue I had with it was, at no point, and maybe this is like exposition that didn't need to be wasted in movie time that was already 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
Right.
Is there was no talk of money.
Yeah.
Like no one, like how is she paying for this thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, why exactly? And I think now I'm like analyzing it a little bit more. Like maybe this does show it's a dream or something. It's like, why would she, like, you go to this area in the middle of nowhere, and you have to like duck down under this door to get the thing. It's almost like you're purposely making it hard to obtain.
Yes.
Almost as though your subconscious is saying, yeah, you really shouldn't be doing this. And so I'm going to put all these barriers in front of you to make it harder to do this.
Yep.
I still thought it was great. There was some annoying parts in it.
Yes.
I did while I was watching it, and when the first blood spray, we'll say,
Okay.
portion, first thing I thought of was Lon's gonna like this.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought of. Like, oh my god, it reminded me of that scene you had showed me from, I don't know, Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh no, Frankenstein girl versus
where
vampire girl.
One's just spraying everywhere, and there's like opera music playing and stuff. It just reminded me of that. And I'm like, oh god, Lon's probably rubbing me out.
I did enjoy that scene, but I enjoyed the ending better.
Okay.
Yes.
Not to jump necessarily to the ending, because I know that's sort of like the
conclusions.
big. That's the part where originally when we got to the ending, I was like, okay, all right, come on. Now we're beyond silly. But if I take it again, if I look back at it, that it's a fairy tale, then I'm like into it. Then I'm like, oh, okay. Now we're talking.
And I do think the 100%. Like Dove and I said the exact same thing. Like, and I do think that last scene is the scene that I think really validates the idea that yes, it's either a complete dream, or it's a fairy tale, or basically that's the same thing. Right. You know, and it was the fact that this thing comes out onto the stage, and no one says anything. Like people already know Sue. She's been on all the talk shows, so that's who they're expecting to see at this New Year's Eve show. And this thing comes out.
I almost wish what they would have done is she would have been normal, come up on stage, then started morphing into. You know what I mean? That way, then it's like
I agree.
I would have been more believable.
Or at least if it was like the front of her looked normal, but like maybe she had like something coming out of her back or something rather.
Yeah, like when that bump came out when she bent over, I thought, maybe it's going to be little things here and there, and she's going to learn how to hide them.
When the boob fell out.
But clearly, right when she pukes up a boob. I don't know puke. I don't know what that was, but
my belly button.
Clearly, this was a statement about beauty standards in Hollywood, and clearly, it's about how far people will go to look good or to stay in the public eye or whatever. And I get all that. How could you not get all that? It was pretty much slapped in your face with most of it. But if it's not reality, or if it is reality, how does somebody looking like she did get to the theater, get up on stage, say her piece for 20 minutes without anybody doing a damn thing or saying a damn thing?
Dennis Quaid was there.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid was in the audience.
But no. I mean in terms of validating what you're saying. To me, it's like, Dennis Quaid was there. So, and his whole thing is about appearance and looking good, and like you get the impression that like maybe proud isn't the right word, but like he's proud that like his protege is what's being used for the thing. So why wouldn't he be stopping and saying, "Oh, well, hold on a sec, this isn't right,"
Well, see, that's
because it's going to make him look bad.
Absolutely.
Because I'm just going to keep going.
Keep going, son of a bitch.
Because like he was surrounded by all of the bigwigs.
Right. The out of state, out of the country executives.
Yeah,
I agree. Go ahead. I'll let you say your piece.
The only thing I was going at was what I didn't like was he had already introduced them to her previously.
Yes.
I almost wish that would have been their first viewing of her.
Because then it would
have been like, look at it, and then there's like, oh shit, and then they would have been looking at him like.
Because then it would have been a little bit more Emperor's New Clothes, like it's
Emperor's New Groove.
No, and it was like even though he reports to her, to them, it's like I think there would have been a little bit more of a. If they had met her before and see how beautiful she was before, like maybe they would have gone like, okay, well, am I missing something?
Right.
Because she looks pretty ugly from here.
Yeah.
Is that an extra tip?
Yeah. It just fell onto the floor. Yeah. But I will say I enjoyed that amount body horror at the end.
I enjoyed all of the effects.
Yeah. I mean,
I was very happy. I was worried it was going to be too Hollywood and they were going to dummy it down or not show a lot of the. Especially
but they made it silly on purpose.
No, but that very.
Especially the end part, yeah.
I was happy because to me that shows that the director went all out. He wasn't afraid to do it. He wasn't. Oh well, I'm going to have her fall and then cut away and then come back or something. He showed everything. And, and even the little, kind of.
A little what? Little what, Logan?
What do you call that?
Little hands.
Little worms.
We'll call it the
blob
worms. I don't know. Maybe. But I thought that was interesting because that and then he tied it back into the beginning with the ketchup, so to speak,
Right.
on there. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed it. I would recommend, if you can wait for a streaming service, don't pay a full price for to go see it in the theater.
It's not a big theater screen movie.
Yeah. No, you don't.
Unless you really want to see that amalgamation.
Yeah. And
at the blasphemous thing at the end that come at you
right. I will add.
Slurping on shit.
I will add one thing. So one of the other issues.
The Atmos.
One thing, yeah,
I can do
it
that
goes all around you.
Give me $20.
But one of the things that my wife had an issue with was right towards the end, where Demi Moore at this point is so. She can barely walk.
I know exactly
she looks like Quasimodo. Yep. She's walking along. But somehow, when she gets out of her apartment, she's able to run.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And pretty straight too.
Yes.
Yeah. I know.
No limp. No.
I was right there with you.
I thought that was thought that was a little bit weird. It's like, okay, at least have some consistency with that cheese.
Did you guys get the feeling that when she, had become, long nose and all that, like
the witch looking?
She looked like. Remember the witches?
Yeah.
That movie. That's exactly
what I thought.
Because of the hook nose.
No. Angelica Houston.
Oh yes.
Houston. Like I was like, oh my god, that immediately reminded me of that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny.
Absolutely. Because it was the wispy hair and the hook nose
pointy
and stuff
nose,
like that.
Ears flopping. But I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, and then she went from barely being able to walk to suddenly dragging her picture
again,
back out.
Right.
It weighs 300 pounds.
It's silly in the fact that reality that would not be happening. But if it was just a fairy tale, now it doesn't matter. If it's a fairy tale, that's the kind of stuff you willingly suspend your disbelief for because it's a fairy tale. Yeah. She's going to sprout wings and fly to the studio. If that happened, you'd buy it because it's a fairy tale.
So to me, I think, and I said a little bit before, I think it's more dreamlike than necessarily fairy tale, although arguably maybe they're the same thing because,
in a way, I'd say it could
because if it was truly a fairy tale, why would she impose the 7-day limitation on it?
Well,
because it's just a story to get to the bottom line of the beauty and the standards for beauty in Hollywood and all that. It's a punchline.
So you mean a fairy tale in terms of the filmmakers, not in terms of Demi Moore's character?
No.
I think the whole film.
Yeah, I think Demi
was a
Moore.
fairy tale.
The 7-day thing was
made-up story.
She could still live vicariously through her new.
But as we've established, she wasn't. But she wasn't vicariously living through her.
She wanted to, but she wanted to.
That was the hope.
She wanted to, and then when she realized that the girl wasn't going to give her props for birthing her, so to speak, that's when she totally went off. I mean, she was already making food and making all that weird, throwing shit all around and stuff like that. But I felt like that was the turning point where then she realized, oh, this girl is not here for me, she's here for herself, but which should have been an inner reflection of her, right? Like that's how she was.
Right, what was she thinking was going to happen then?
Yeah.
Like eventually they'd meld and she'd get the riches. I mean, if she had to go back to being her old self every 7 days, what does she get out of that?
I agree,
like
a week is not a long enough time.
No, but even that, even if it went on, you did that forever. What's in it for Demi?
Well, so then my question was, eventually they both die off, right? Because eventually Demi Moore is going to die.
Because she's still getting older.
And she's and then
Sue's getting older.
Her's not going to be able to continue to.
Because she's pretty much an amoeba that's got nice boobs.
So the question is, what if Sue starts taking the substance?
Does she split into another one?
Does she split into another one?
That's what she did at the end. She used the remaining substance.
That's the sequel.
Oh, no. You are correct.
Because that's why they ended up joining.
And it says only once.
Yes.
But now, could they have, that does bring up a question though, like what you're saying, could they have created a substance for her?
Right.
Because now they could probably go in and say, well, this was specifically for Demi Moore's character, right?
Well,
now this one's specifically for you. But and that's why she threw. But the other thing I didn't understand is why did she not get hurt at all by the termination stuff? Like I felt like she got 80 to 90% of Sue got 80 to 90% of the termination stuff, and all it did was wake her up. Like I felt like she should have been spitting up blood or something. Like she did eventually start losing her teeth and whatnot, but I don't know. It was just a little. There's some holes.
I'm still not changing my vote.
No. Vote I gave it was.
It's a fairy tale. Otherwise, I would have given it a worse vote because if that was just supposed to be an actual reality and we're supposed to believe that, then I would have given it less.
Yes.
It is a movie.
It didn't say it was a documentary.
Exactly, but fuck you. Okay.
All right, folks. We hit the 25-minute mark.
I think that's perfect.
That's good.
I still would recommend it.
Totally. I'm with Logan. I mean, it's like
good performances all the way around.
Don't necessarily need to see it in a movie theater. There's nothing about it that requires a movie theater. Wait for it on streaming. Great performances. Yep. Like honestly, even as awful as Dennis Quaid was as a character,
it was a brilliant performance.
Great performance.
Yeah, that's what. He was supposed to be.
You know, it's that slimy Hollywood producer type, and he plays it like perfectly.
Yeah.
Demi Moore. I mean, you know, we just watched the trailer before we started recording. It's like, it truly is probably one of the best performances that she's done. I mean, it's like, and I'm sorry, she still looks stunning.
Yeah, she does.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Stick
you.
around for next week's episode. I won't tell you what it's all about. You just have to show up and see it.
Yeah.
Which you will, of course.
Yes, because we love you.
Thanks for coming. Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We done?
Yeah, we're done. Kill it.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Be sure to follow us on social media.
How come you got more?
Because you're lame. You don't know what to say.
What are we supposed to do? Like
Logan,
time it all out.
Like, tune into the next
you
one
keep screwing it up. You're gonna knock it.
This is like take 15. Like I only screwed up like 3 of them. You screwed up like 8.
We're just gonna keep this one, okay?
This is the one.
This is it.
This
We're
one
done.
right here.
Finish it.
And